What up? It's your girl Ashley. I be ballin' with another episode of I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. Today we're gonna review the documentary Chi Town about Keifer Sykes, the rise from high school to college to the pros. Now, before I begin, I want to introduce the special guest, William.
What up? What up? What
What
up?
up? Tell us about your YouTube channel, Road to William, and tell us where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, so Road to William. I do reviews, interviews, and deep dives on different things in life. Keep y'all informed in the know of what's going on in the world. And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok because that's what I heavily be on daily. Um, and so that's Road to William. Just all you gotta type in, all one, Road to William. That's where to find me.
One stop shop for a lot of variety videos. So make sure you visit Road to William after this episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. So Chi Town, it's about Kiefer Sykes, growing up in Chicago on the west side, going to Marshall High School. And it's about him going to college as well, Green Bay, and it's a lot about, him surviving. It's about personal loss, violence, it's about overcoming obstacles, and you get to see his family and, his rise up in the ranks and, college. And I believe like his last stint that I recall in the NBA was he had signed with the Pacers in like 2021 and 2022. But I think right now he's playing overseas in a Polish basketball league. Could make a lot of money playing overseas. But before we get into it, I like to do my movie reviews like this. If you could describe this documentary in one word or a phrase, what would it be? And I have sort of two. I have a phrase and I have a word. My word is overcome because he had to overcome a lot of things, He became a father at a young age and, lost different friends and family members and working on his game, you know, and he was going back and forth from Chicago to Green Bay. Oh, and also this reminded me sort of Hoop Dreams. Back in the 90s, they did a documentary called Hoop Dreams, and they followed um a guy named Arthur Agee who went to Kiefer Sykes' same um Chicago high school team, Marshall. And so I was like, okay, Marshall's still doing some big things, okay. And so I would say overcome because he had to overcome a lot of, struggles. But he also would always smile a lot. That's pretty cool. Oh, and my other phrase is heart over size. Wait, what's the phrase? Heart over, no, yeah, heart over height. That's the phrase, heart over height. Because, when you kind of like a short point guard, a short player, some people overlook you because he's like 5'11", But I think his dunking ability kind of really helped. Um, yeah, a lot of short players, they get overlooked because of their size. So I would say hard over height and overcome. What would your words be?
Uh, my word would be family because it showed a lot of, it was like the foundation for him. And like it was rooted in, you know, like even moving forward, he showed us like he incorporated his family throughout his journey, even when his dad had passed away, like certain things like he was trying to connect. And I think even when he was talking about the number 55 and how he was trying to find connections to his dad with at the same time waiting to see if he'll get into the NBA. And like when the number 55 hit on the TV and it wasn't his name, and just the you could see like the disappointment in his eyes even at then, like maybe this ain't it. And then so it's we could talk more about that because I really like that part of the film. But family for sure. But also I saw another word that stood out to me was hopelessness because um I remember his mom saying like this is a good outlet for kids to have like some type of sports, like basketball, anything to keep them focused in the streets. And it just was sad to see that even when someone's doing good, there's at the same time something bad happening. And you could come back to your city and see the hopelessness in their eyes. And one last thing I wanted to say about the film that stood out, it was like, stay focused. That was the main thing they kept saying. Like, that's what um they were talking about Kiefer's ability, like he stayed focused. He even realized at an early point, like he had to get out of them streets, even if he was just hanging on the streets, like he wasn't dealing or nothing, but he was like, even just being outside, you're at risk. So that as much as you can just stay in the gym and stay focused on the craft and put all that pain into your craft and skill, you can go really far. So those are my takeaways.
Those are some good words. Focused, family, A double F. Okay. So I like that it follows Sykes on like a journey of multiple years. And I liked how they showed his progress, but also they showed, a lot of personal loss. Like you said, he lost his dad, and, even his dad was young, 55, and he kept losing friends. Uh, what I did like was, he would write letters to his friend that went to jail, and he visit his friend, that, was in rehab when he got shot. So I did like that, even though he was like a big time basketball player, he still did those things and he didn't really have to, I thought that was cool. But did you have like scene, a favorite scene or a favorite person that you really liked in the documentary?
Kiefer for sure. Um, but the whole squad, the whole family was lit and supportive. That scene that I was talking about where him and his family was watching them to see what team he would go to, but it never aired. Um, but he quietly was accepted, to to play with one of his like favorite players of all time. And I think that just goes to show like a lot of your rewards might not be shown on TV or it's not for everyone to see. That was like a precious moment to just have intimately with the people around you. And I think it's like, well, if the people around you, they can enjoy that moment with you. It's more um personal, sincere that way. I like that. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite scenes. Also, all the barbershop scenes was my favorite. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, dang. that was the era where like the sharp the sharp line on the, had to be crisp. It had to be crisp, straight to the T. But nowadays it's more like fades. Like back in the day, it was more like lineups, crisp of the lineup. Now it's like fades and all this other stuff, whatever. But I just thought it was funny going back looking at the times of those barbershop days.
Be out on the lookout for Road to William barbershop movie reviews about the barbershop trilogy. Be on the
Oh
lookout
yes.
for those.
I gotta do a video, another video of me, y'all seeing me do my haircut videos. I used to do that when I first started. I'm gonna throw that in there and then, but it'll align with the barbershop trilogy we're gonna do for sure.
Yeah, I would say my favorite scenes would be him with his son. I think his son was KJ, I think. And I think I really liked those scenes and with his but I also he had a lot of little cousins running around and that I liked his Pete Sykes' personality because he could have said I'm just gonna hang with my older friends, or he could have said, I'm too tired. I just played basketball practice. But he had a lot of energy running around with those little cousins. And so I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty dope. And um
There was this one scene where they were in the gym practicing, and I liked how they showed him following through every time. Because I think a lot of times I see more of the people stop midway and then want to go back, start over, where he kept following through, and that's how you get better. Let that muscle train that muscle.
yeah, if you train your shot, then it becomes, you don't even have to think about it. You just do it. It's like muscle memory. Um But I did like that scene you were talking about when he got with the Cavs. Because some people they don't get invited to the draft because they're not like a high top draft pick. So some people have small parties at their houses and sometimes people don't even get picked in the second round. Sometimes after the draft is over or about to be over, um there's teams that still want to get certain players, so sometimes they get like a training camp deal, or sometimes they do sign like a deal right away to be on the team, and now they have two-way deals, which is like extra roster spots. So I think it's different ways to develop and get hitting gems, um stuff like that. But I still think that he had a good basketball career. You know, even if you don't play in the NBA for you have a 20-year career in the NBA. Some people don't get that. You know, some people make a living overseas, and you get to see the world, travel the world, new experiences, and they make a lot of money overseas. Um, do you have like a, oh, let's see. I have 6 minutes left. So, what's the biggest takeaway in the life of Keifer Sykes, the Chi-Town Doc? What's the biggest takeaway?
I think it was like be careful of the little things. That's what stuck out to me is what they said. Like, um, because you can have all the talent in the world, but like just being in the wrong spot at the wrong time and can like really trip you up. So I think he had a good support system. I'm glad they said like no one's really on their own. Like he had a son, he had to still think about his son. And I like that they showed those shots of him and his son just bonding, just doing whatever. Um, and how like passionate, you know, um, that came across. And so, yeah, that was the main thing, though. Careful of the little things.
Okay, okay. I did like there was a scene where all the kids were playing outside and they were eating some popsicles. I was like, oh snap. I used to do that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that was funny. They was geeking over that. That was so funny. And I liked the relationship he had with his girlfriend. And I
mm-hmm.
liked how he included her. I've never seen that either. You don't really see that promoted as much either. But he was like, "No, I want to make sure, we all are together." So that was dope too.
Yeah, because he easily could have said, you know, some guys get girl pregnant and they be like, hey, I'll take care of the kid, but me and you, we done. He could have had a Green Bay, girl up there to start over, but they seem like the best of friends, so I think I like that. And oh, there was something else. Oh, and I did like how they were talking to the mother on the phone, and KJ was like, I like that house. Because
Yeah, that
he
was
probably
funny.
get away with more stuff, but I thought that
Oh,
was funny.
and then I was like, every time I was getting excited for him, he would switch a team. I couldn't even enjoy the moment. It was like, okay, now that I'm like, the
That's
Spurs, the
how it
Bucks. I was like,
is.
wait, you okay?
It's it's
Huh?
hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard out here. And he had a great career in Green Bay. I remember watching him, because I like to follow Marquette and um sometimes in Green Bay, I was like, hey, there's a black kid. So I like to follow the black kids on the teams. Like if the Badgers don't really got no black kids, sometimes I'll be like, I don't really wanna. Marquette is the one that had the most black kids, so I root for them more. But I
Mhm.
used to follow him, and also it's just so hard. And like nowadays, they want point guards to be tall now. If you look at Lonzo Ball and Melo Ball, they six
Yeah,
five, 6'7".
they are really tall. Yeah.
Back in the day, point guards could be 6 foot, 6'2". Now it's like, because even me, I would draft a tall point guard versus a short point guard. But I think short point guards, they do still have a spot in the league. But I think it's just a matter of they don't want all small point guards on the same team.
Yeah.
But I would say the biggest lesson is, you know, keep a tight circle,
Mm,
stay humble, stay working. Because if you notice, he never got in any trouble. He
yeah.
was taking care of his son, and he still would visit friends and
Yeah.
you know, he
Hang
had
out.
his head on straight and he went all 4 years to college because he could have left early. But I think it's best if you stay 4 years, get that degree, because you got your whole life
Yeah.
to like play in the pros.
Hmm.
One extra year not gonna hurt.
Somebody
Oh,
told him that too in one of the press conferences, which I thought was interesting,
yeah.
like as an advice to him. I also wanted to say that he was a good all-around player because I was watching the practice when he was, even the games they were showing, he had really good fouling. He knew how to foul, get them points to the, I don't know what y'all call it, free throw line. I don't know what the slang is for that, but
Get to the rim, get to the hole,
well, what's the reference to like you trying to purposely get a free throw?
get to the rim, get fouled.
All right, fine. That's the slang, whatever. But
Yeah, he was an all-around good point guard. He could
you know how
score,
to foul. Yeah.
play
And he was a
make.
really good shooter.
Yep. And he was
Um,
fast. But I like how he said can't show pressure. And I like how he had a smile on his
yes.
face. And
Mm,
I think he was an overall good player, an overall good human being. And I think that's why he never got in trouble. And he was a father figure to a lot of people. And people looked up to him, like his family members. So
yeah.
make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna keep up with